who's all grown up and ready for our AARP card.
We're partying all year long as we celebrate 50 amazing years of radio at Nassau Community College.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
Come on, brother. Let's pretend we're at Spit.
Where are we going?
What are the other clubs? Malibu is another club.
Like Malibu Sue.
Malibu Sue, yeah. Hello, Sue. How you doing? But, I don't know if you heard, brother.
I'm sure I haven't, since I have no idea why you're playing this song.
Because people voted in the people's poll for Duran Duran for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
My good friend Allison Waite, she lives in Wales. She's a massive Duran Duran fan. They say massive over there.
The girls still line up.
They do.
They still go to the concerts. They're like they pretend they're 20 years old again. Except the hips are a little wider and the clothes.
Now you're getting rude. Don't be rude.
I know.
Don't be rude.
I'm not being rude. I'm just being truthful. There's a difference. Rude it doesn't have to be truthful.
Don't be rude.
I'm just saying.
Everybody gets older, brother. Your hips are a little wider, too.
My hips are very much wider. I'll tell you a story, brother. Years ago, Brett Michaels was playing at our old hunting grounds, John J. Burns Park. And
I'm fairly certain that Marianne Mustachio was there.
She might have been.
My very long and dear friend.
So, of course, the bus is there. The Brett Michaels bus.
Of course.
It's in the back.
The Rock of Love bus.
It's right there in the back. It's right near where we used to play soccer. And these two girls were talking. And they were like thinking, well, should we go on the bus? And then she goes, I think we're too old to go on the bus.
Brett's too old to go on the bus. Come on.
Well, Brett's 100 years old now. He's had some work. But it was funny that they realized, and they weren't actually bad looking. They still had their looks, because sometimes that goes away for the wrong reason.
Again, getting rude.
And so, but they were like, oh, yeah, they joked. And they go, the old days you would have been on the bus.
That's some good self-realization, so that's not bad.
Yeah, that is. Anyway, brother, we are right now in the middle of something that we don't see a lot in New York baseball or New York sports.
Everybody's in first place, brother.
Everyone's in first place.
Before we start, brother, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
When was the last time that Yankees, Mets, Giants, and Jets fans all were happy at the same time?
Never.
Because it's quite possible that the weekend that just passed represents the first time in history that all of those fan bases were happy at the same time.
Well, first of all, Jet fans are never happy.
No, Jet fans were happy this weekend.
Well,
they were happy this weekend.
I know
really
we're going to be talking to Forbes.com Jets beat writer JP Pelzman in about a half hour, but I've never met a Jet fan who's happy. So,
sure you have.
No, not really.
There's a few. It happens.
And last time was maybe when they got Bill Parcells.
By the way, bro, I think I'm on the Facebook Live.
No,
it like a commercial. Or the computer.
I didn't hit start.
Yeah, but leave it. We're good.
But I don't think we're doing anything with it.
Well, just click play or whatever.
No, we have to pick his channelers.
All right, whatever.
Anyway,
I look good though.
Of course, brother.
So, but Jets fans were thrilled with the NFL draft.
Yes.
Giants fans were thrilled with the NFL draft. And we don't know because, remember Eric Flowers and remember Eli Apple and some of the infamous busts that have come through New York through the NFL draft. But every pick that the Jets and Giants made on whether it was Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or let's just say Thursday and Friday, every pick was made, especially in the first round, was universally praised.
Oh yeah, it was a great week for Jet and Giant fans. But
so the
if you're
Yankees,
a Jets fan, you're always depressed.
Well, but the Yankees have the best record in baseball.
Sad but true.
The Mets have the best record in the National League.
That's true.
So the two best teams in Major League Baseball reside in New York City. So how about that? There's nothing for people to, I mean, could Jets and Giants fans complain? Sure they could. But right now, after both teams essentially conquered the draft, I mean, the Giants made a couple of late picks that were questionable. I didn't understand. But for the Giants to bring in Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal.
Let's save
All
our
right,
stuff.
but I'm just
JP
saying.
Pelzman on.
I'm just saying for both teams to have made every pick right, and the Jets climbing back up into the first round to grab one more player who was high up on their board. All great stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the Yankees have won 9 games in a row.
That's what we want to talk about.
The Mets have
brother.
won 7 series in a row.
The Mets, first of all, if they win every series, they're going to be the best team in baseball.
Thank you for pointing out the obvious.
Well, I'm just saying,
Yes, if you win 2 out of every 3 games, you will be the best team in baseball. I have to confirm that for you.
Thank you. I just want to make sure.
Very good. That would mean you'd probably win somewhere in the neighborhood of about 106 games or something. I'd have to do quick math there.
108 is the one we want to top.
108, 108 and 54. That would be it.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's 667. That's 2 out of 3.
Right.
So booyah.
Booyah is
That's
right.
the goal.
So we're talking about right now both teams in front. Now, last week we were very worried about the Yankees a little bit, I think, because
Well, you were. I wasn't.
you were worried.
I'm never worried in April, brother. Come on.
April's the most important month.
It really
if
isn't.
you trip in April, it's how hard it is to come back. The only team that really comes back.
We're going to find out with the Boston Red Sox.
Is the 73 Mets. When they came, they were last place.
Yeah, but they won the division. They were like, what, 4 games over 500?
I know, but they
it was
won.
a lousy year for baseball.
They won
like the National League East last year, except the Braves wound up winning the World Series. But
right.
what I mean, first of all, in April, fortunes can change, and I will point out my mook friend Croce, who the Red Sox fan, who is pretty much on his way right now. He's probably about a week away from calling the baseball season over and starting to talk about the Patriots again.
But are you trying to say he gives up on the Red Sox? Are you saying all Red Sox fans just give up on the Red Sox?
I'm not saying all of them. I don't say all of anything, but I'm talking about my mook friend Croce. And
we tried to have him on. He won't come on.
He is a week or 2 away from ignoring baseball, which is great with me because all I see from him on my Facebook timeline every day is ignorance and stupidity. But right now, the Red Sox are a half a game out of last place. The Yankees are 7.5 games ahead of the Red Sox after April. So it's 1 month of baseball. And the Yankees are that far ahead of the Red Sox. The Yankees are, like I said, 16-6. They have a 1.5 game lead over the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League East. The Yankees are going to Toronto tonight. That series, brother, if you recall, that series was, before the season started, that was going to be a significant series because it would tell us which Yankees were vaccinated for COVID.
Right.
And which were not, which was the more significant question.
Unlike New York City, Canada is very serious about that.
Canada don't let you in. If you're not vaccinated, if you don't show them a vaccination card, turn around. Turn around and go back to wherever you came from because you ain't coming in here. And there were several rumors. I'm not even going to bother naming names but there were several rumors. People know who the names are, big names. But
all hail.
But Aaron Boone said more than a week ago, I forget exactly what date he said it, but the Yankees, whoever wasn't vaccinated has gotten vaccinated. So I guess we're going to find out for sure tonight, because if somebody's not in the lineup, then I want to see them in the dugout. Because if I don't see them in the dugout and I don't see them in the lineup, then we're going to know that maybe not everybody is vaccinated. But I'm going to take Aaron Boone at his word. He's an honest guy. He's not going to tell us something, because what purpose does it serve for him if the Yankees say, well, yeah, everybody's vaccinated, and then one player or 2 players isn't with the team? Then that just stirs up scandal and it distracts from all the good stuff that's going on right now,
right.
Which is the Yankees winning 9 in a row, Major League best 9-game winning streak, 11 out of 12. And again, the original point I was about to make about my mook friend Croce is he's the one saying, well, they played the Royals and the Baltimore Orioles and the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. Well, you know what? You play who's on the schedule, and what are they supposed to do? Lose those games? Like you play who's on the schedule.
Actually, they could have.
Well, yeah, but
That's the thing, they didn't.
What the Yankees did is what good teams do.
Right, they win the bad games.
You see a weak part of the schedule, and you abuse it, and you win every game, and you pound on those weaker teams. And the Yankees of last season didn't do that. The Yankees of last season were bad against the Orioles. The Red Sox just lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. So what has happened over the course of the last week and a half is the Yankees have done what they are supposed to do. Are they supposed to beat the Royals and the Orioles? Absolutely. I wouldn't even say to the tune of 6 in a row, but yeah, they probably should win 6 in a row. But they certainly need to win those series.
Sure.
And when you put together a 9-game winning streak and you go from being 7-6 to 16-6, that's how quickly things change early in the season. And that's why I will always say that obviously April games, you don't want to say they're not as important as September games, but this is the great part of the season to build a cushion.
I'll totally disagree with you, brother. I think the April is much more important than September.
I disagree.
Because if you win in April, it allows you to trip a little bit in September.
That's what I just said. You build a cushion.
Right.
That's what the Yankees are doing. And that's why I will never say that April games are not important, because they are. Every game is important. But there's more pressure on the September games because that's when teams are playing. That's when the end of the season pressure starts to come and you start playing more meaningful games. Like right now, we're still in a phase where starting pitchers are going 5 or 6 innings, or maybe not even 5 innings. Garrett Cole, his last 2 outings, he's pitched more than either six or more innings for no runs, and people were worried about Garrett Cole. I was getting messages on my timeline. Are we going to have a Garrett Cole problem? What's wrong with Garrett Cole? You know what? Nothing's wrong with him. He doesn't like pitching in 40-degree weather. I know I wouldn't either. It's cold. You're trying to grip a baseball that doesn't want to be gripped because I don't know what's going on with the baseballs this year, but Garrett Cole is back. I'm happy with Garrett Cole the last 2 starts. He's pitched extremely well. And my guy, who at some point, when are we going to put some respect on Nestor Cortez's name? Because since last season, if you go back for the second half of last year, and maybe even longer, he has one of the best ERAs in all of baseball. His ERA in that time is 2.6. When are we going to put some respect on his name?
Why should we, brother?
When are we going to ignore that, oh, hey, Nestor, he's a goofy guy, he's got a porn star mustache. Hey, you know what? He also strikes out 12-plus guys every 9 innings. He doesn't let up runs. His ERA is 1.31 right now.
That's very good.
The guy is a legit pitcher. I want respect on his name. He is Nestor.
Nestor, come on. Anyway, brother. So the Yankees right now, I'm just looking at this, their thing. They're 16-6, 727.
Yes,
but the Los Angeles Angels are right behind them. They're 15-8.
That's the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with your boy Noah Syndergaard.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you got the Mets 16-7. Milwaukee is 15-8. That's pretty good.
That team in the last 2 years has undergone such a transformation because 2 years ago, the Milwaukee Brewers were a team that people were like, oh, where's the pitching? They don't have any pitching. They can't win without pitching. To having legitimately one of the best staffs in baseball.
Yep.
Their staff is crazy.
And then, get this, NL West is going to be the division.
Just like last year.
Dodgers 14-7, San Diego 15-8, and San Francisco is 14-8. And guess what? Colorado is 13-9.
Yeah, that's not going to last.
Who knows? And the Astros are 10-13. So
what do the Astros have to do with anything?
I'm sorry, Arizona.
Oh,
I saw A. And guess what? Cincinnati already 3-19.
Oh, that's what a disaster the Reds are. And you know what's worse is their owner was on TV a couple of weeks ago. It was like pretty much right when the season started, and fans were upset because they traded away a handful of guys, and basically have told their fans that we're going to be bad this year because they traded away a couple of key guys, including Sonny Gray. And the owner was asked a question. It was kind of a softball question, but he went off onto this rant and essentially told the fans, "Well, you know what? Where else are you going to go? And if we don't like it, maybe we'll move the team."
Yeah, that's not happening.
What an idiotic statement! And then you follow that up by starting off 3-9. The Red season is over already. Why are people going to come to that stadium?
By the way, you know who once said that? Fred Wilpon.
Fred Wilpon, exactly.
He said that to Mike and the Bad Dog years ago. They said, well, because he wanted a new stadium, so it's before they built,
Foolish
City Field, and he wanted the city to pay for it, and this is before they made the rules they can write off your stadium building on your luxury tax.
Uh-huh.
And I still remember this.
Stupid rule, by the way.
Wilpon goes, well, maybe we can move the team. And all I remember is Dog saying, you're not moving that team. Why would you move out of New York?
Right. Exactly.
And it's so true.
You know how many teams would line up to move to New York if he was dumb enough to move out of New York?
They'd be lined up like literally the second.
Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Oakland, Kansas City. I mean, I could name a dozen teams immediately that there would be either a bidding war or a lottery or something where the commissioner would have to step in and say, all right, well, we got to do something here.
Right, and then they'd probably put a team in New Jersey like they always wanted to too.
No, neither Yankees. Well, the Yankees wouldn't allow it to happen.
Well,
as long as there's still a Yankees or a Mets around, then there's not going to be a team in New Jersey.
Then again, there's a lot of minor league teams in the area, so
Yes,
that's something else. I mean, you got the Staten Island Ferry Hawks coming around. You got the Cyclones. You got the Ducks.
Ferry Hawks made history this weekend. They had a female player.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, awesome.
So
they had Rachel Balkovec on the K-Rod cast last night.
Okay,
she was very good. I like her. I like the fact that I've seen I think 3 or 4 interviews now. She is the manager of the Class A Tampa Tarpons.
Ah, okay.
She is right now the manager of Jason Dominguez, who is the super prospect for the New York Yankees. But I like the fact that I've seen her interviewed now probably 3 or 4 times. She comes across as somebody who is just really smart.
That's good.
And I like that because I want somebody. These are all kids down there. It's A-ball down there is what the New York Penn League used to be. The New York Penn League is now a step up from that.
Right.
So you're talking about kids who are away from home for the first time.
Right out of high school.
Kids who have moved away from the Dominican Republic and are learning English and America and whatnot. And kids, like you said, right out of high school or right out of college. So she is the person who not only is teaching them how to be a baseball player, but is teaching them how to be adults in a lot of cases.
That's good.
And that's not an easy job, but I like how she comes across. Very smart. Love that.
You want that. So, I mean, but there's a lot of minor league teams in this area. I mean, there's just so many of them. And the Ferry Hawks, from what I've read and seen, the stadium where the Staten Island Yankees used to play at has been totally redone. It looks very good. I actually like the name Ferry Hawks. I didn't like it at first.
I'm not crazy about it.
They have a guy. Usually they always have a mean-looking guy now. Remember the old days?
I have a guy.
Yeah, but if you look at the Raiders, who are the most ultimate team of being like the mean team. Their guy isn't like that. He just has he
looks a little angry.
He looks angry, but he doesn't
have a sword in his mouth. Or no, that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. But if you ever look at the Raiders guy, he just sort of has it's not even a grin. It's like, I'm going to kick your butt. And
it's their fans who all look like serial killers.
Yeah, and if you thought about the history of the Raiders, Al Davis and now his son, and they moved 17 times, and it's the
son with one of the worst haircuts in America.
Yeah. So anyway, let's quickly.
Some dude with that much money should have better hair.
I agree.
Plain and simple.
He probably has a Flowbee or something. Then again, who was it? George Clooney used a Flowbee for years.
I'll take your word for it.
He did. He said it on Jimmy Kimmel. Anyway, let's quickly talk more about the Yankees, brother, before we get to the Mets. Anything else we have to add?
No, well, I'm happy. The pitching is outstanding. Team ERA 2.72. Anthony Rizzo leads the majors with 9 home runs. Leads the team with 21 RBIs. Aaron Judge, second on the team and in Major League Baseball with 8 home runs and a .300 batting average. So everything's going right. So we'll see tonight. Tonight is the test because let's see what the Yankees can do in Toronto. That's a couple of American League heavyweights going at it. And you remember they went at it early in the season And I don't even remember what happened. I don't remember if I think the Yankees, they either split a 4-game series or Toronto took 2 out of 3. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a good series for the Yankees. I remember that because I remember Vladimir Guerrero hitting 3 home runs in that one game, hitting bombs. But let's see what happens. And it's the Yankees aren't going to win every game like they have been for the last week and a half because they're not going to play the Orioles and the Royals and the Tigers and the Guardians every day. But you can't be unhappy if you're a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the Mets quickly, brother.
Yeah.
No hitter, a 5-pitcher no hitter.
Timmy, don't get me started with
Why?
this. How many pitches?
5.
Five pitches.
5 pitchers, bro.
Who's it get credited to?
Everybody. 5 guys. All of them.
But do they do the thing like, let's say I'm the pitcher,
all the pitchers
and I
get
play
credit.
I pitch 5 innings, and I let up 2
That
runs.
was
Hold on, let me go where I'm going. Why don't they use combined wins the way they use combined no-hitters? That's what I want to know.
Well, because there is a rule in place that the guy who pitches into, if you have a lead after 5 innings, then whoever is the pitcher, that's the pitcher of record. Or if you take the lead after 5 innings, then
that's
that's
not
the
really
pitcher
fair.
who gets the win. Yeah,
That's not
well, that's the standard.
Well-
that's the rule. There is no combined
But
win.
five people pitching a...
Yes,
Come on, that's-
5. Tylor McGill started, went 5 innings. Then a cast of characters came in, and Drew Smith and Joely Rodriguez, the former Yankee, by the way, Seth Lugo and Edwin Diaz finished it out. He struck out the side in the 9th inning. We got Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, and JT Realmuto.
Nice pronunciation.
Thank you, brother.
But is it really fair? Why do you
What do you mean
take
it's
out
fair?
Why do you
What
take
does
out
fair
a
have
guy
to do with anything?
in the 5th inning?
Wait. Now, let's not get into that conversation.
And he's
159 pitches to finish the no-hitter.
How is that possible?
What do you mean, how is it possible?
That's
They
like
walked
incredible.
6. I mean, it was a lot of pitches. You're not going to have one guy throwing 159 pitches to throw a no-hitter to destroy his career.
27 batters.
Oh, my God.
Times, we'll say 6. 6 pitches. Let's see, 42. That's 120, 162. Is that right?
I don't know what you're doing, brother, but I wish you would stop. Anyway, Johan Santana threw the only previous no-hitter in Mets history.
Right.
That was on June 1st, 2012.
And they let him finish the game.
And he was never the same. He needed 134 pitches in that game, and he was never the same. So that's proof that throwing too many pitches can damage your arm.
That's because they don't throw enough anymore. That's
Well, whatever. Anyway, but that no-hitter was a little tainted because there was a questionable call during that game, and what was thought to be a fair ball was ruled foul, and it allowed Santana to get the no-hitter. So this one, I'll tell you what, Brandon Nimmo made a hell of a catch to save it, and like I said, Diaz finished it off, and Diaz was one of the few guys that actually knew that there was still a no-hitter going. He saw it in the 7th inning. He's like, I might have to go into a game where there's a no-hitter going on.
Yeah, because there were 5 pitches.
Well, yeah.
Why not have 17? Why do you have the whole staff come out and pitch an inning?
Because there's
Or a
only
batter.
9 innings, brother.
Or a batter, you know?
Anyway, Mets beat the Phillies last night. Max Scherzer was just okay last night, but he won. That's
Doesn't
all that
matter.
matters.
Doesn't matter. As long as he
Pitch to the
wins.
scoreboard. He struck out the first 5 batters he faced, and then Kyle Schwarber took him deep, and then Schwarber hit another home run his next at bat. Kyle Schwarber kills the Mets. I don't know why the Mets didn't sign this guy, just to have him stop killing them. But the Phillies are a bit of a mess, and like I said, Scherzer didn't pitch great. Pitched 6 innings, 4 runs, struck out 9. So, pretty not even dominant, but just he was solid. He was what you expect from Max Scherzer, except he gave up a couple too many runs. But the Mets scored 10, so who cares?
That's right.
Pitch to the scoreboard. Keep winning games. The Mets, though, and I will say this before we go to break, brother. The Mets are going to have a dilemma because the rosters are going to be trimmed down.
Yeah,
I think it's
players.
today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Where the Major League Baseball had allowed teams to carry a couple extra players because of the shortened spring training, and most teams were carrying extra pitchers. Well, here the Mets are with a dilemma because it is pretty much assumed that either Dominic Smith or Robinson Cano will be one of the casualties of the cut down. Because apparently Buck Showalter really likes Travis Jankowski, who actually played his college ball at Stony Brook, brother. And likely will want him around. Good defensive player, good guy to have if you need a pinch runner. He's a guy who steals bases and does all that. So do the Mets send down Dom Schmidt, who is legitimately one of their best hitters, even though his average right now is on the low side? Or do they cut Robinson Cano and eat somewhere in the neighborhood of $40 million?
No. What's going to happen is they're going to keep Robinson, or they're going to try to trade him. And
nobody's taking him.
Well, they'll trade him and they'll pay most of the salary, but they don't want to give him up because they still have to pay the salary. So let's put it this way, brother. Robinson Cano gets released, and you're the Cincinnati Reds, let's say.
Right.
You go for him, what the hell? It's going to cost
all you got to do is pay the major league minimum. The Mets
Right.
got to pay the rest.
Yeah, so that's why you do it. So if you can try to keep him to make a trade for, maybe
but all it does is get you a couple million. Well, it gets you like a couple million in salary relief. The Mets, no matter what, out of that $40 million, the Mets are going to have to pay at least like 36 of it.
Yeah,
it saves you a couple million. It gets you a prospect who's not really a prospect because nobody's going to give up anybody who's any good to acquire aging Robinson Cano. But how much is Cano's leadership worth? And I don't know how much leadership he has. Because obviously he was out all of last year because of the PED suspension.
Right.
So I don't know how he is regarded in the Mets dugout.
Well, I do know that he's been DHing a lot.
Yes, of course, because he's old.
But I don't know. Let's see if does he have any. What's his stats this year so far?
He's batting around 200. I mean, he hasn't had a good season. That's why he is a candidate to be released.
Last 15 games, 268. Last 7 games, 182.
Well, there you go. And Dom Smith was 4 for 4 last night, which was a hell of a way for him to say, "Hey, keep me around. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here in the major leagues with the nice white baseballs and batting practice with those nice white baseballs and whatever else Crash Davis said."
So I would keep Cano just for that and just try to trade him, but you don't want to give up really.
It's either that or they do with one less pitcher. And I don't know that too many managers who want to go with one less pitcher these days.
Major League Baseball should have allowed it for 2 months. A month is not enough. But anyway, we're going to take a break right now. We have JP Pelzman from Forbes.com, the Jets beat writer there, talk about the NFL draft right after these messages.
Okay. Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
I was just sitting there befuddled, and that's the word of the day today, folks, is befuddled.
Oh, I thought you were about to give out the Wordle of the
Oh, no.
I'm in the middle of it right now.
How would anybody get this?
It starts with a T, apparently, and ends with an S.
Don't! People get very mad
who cares? You're
I didn't
spoiling
get it yet. I have T in the right spot. It's the first letter.
I want to write this.
Then O is in the
third
wrong
letter.
spot.
O is the third letter.
And then S-E are the fourth and fifth letters. So I just need the second letter.
It's got to be a vowel, right?
Those.
Yeah,
Oh my God, you guys are so smart. Let's go, I got it!
What do you win now?
Nothing, but I do share it on all my social media.
That was awesome.
I get it.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
I talk a lot about how it only takes one bad habit to hold you back or keep you stuck. Sometimes it's better to just get rid of the bad habits that are holding you back. You just need to reframe the way that you think, because if you want to change how you feel, you need to change how you think and change how you behave.
It's been said that success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. If you're ready to be the successful person that you were meant to be and live the life of your dreams, then begin by making it a habit to listen to the advice of the world's most successful people on The Secrets of Success, Mondays at 3 p.m. and Sundays at 6:30 a.m. Can't listen at those times? Then go to nccradio.org and listen to podcasts of The Secrets of Success at your convenience. Success is a journey, not a destination, and your journey starts right here on The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, from the press box. You know, we never even introduced ourselves to him. I just realized that. From the press box here every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. talking sports. I am Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard, award-winning sports writer. And yes, we are brothers. This show becomes a podcast later on. Let's get to a guy who's basically family. He's been on enough times. And I think he's been to the house, brother. Wasn't in the old days? Didn't he come over to the house?
Got to ask him.
JP, were you ever over to the house a long time ago? Oh, hold on. JP, were you ever at the house? Did we invite you over? Did Mom invite you over?
The Massapequa.
I think
mansion?
so. I think I might have been over there.
I thought you were over once. Yeah,
I think he was.
At least once or twice. I think so.
See, you know, he's been in the house, so you know that's family. You know,
the Massapequa mansion.
The mansion in Massapequa. Yes. So anyway, JP, what's happening? We're talking to JP Pelzman. He is the Jets beat writer for Forbes.com, and he comes on our show a lot too. Talk about the New York Jets because that's what he covers.
And the NFL draft of the weekend. JP, the Jets seem to be almost unanimous winners of this weekend's draft. I'm just wondering what you thought about what they did, and if you want to mention what the Giants did as well, feel free.
Well, hey, I mean, obviously they had a great draft, but as you folks know, and as people have said also, last time I checked, they don't, to quote Herm Edwards, that was his big homily last time I checked, they don't give out Lombardi trophies in April and May, but hey, they did a great haul. I mean, Joe Douglas was very, very aggressive. He got the guys he wanted, and I mean, you could argue, guys, that they maybe got the best prospect. I mean, I know Jermaine Johnson went as the last pass rusher, but some of the pundits had him rated as the best pass rusher on their board. I mean, you could make that case. Breece Hall was the top running back. A lot of people had Garrett Wilson as their best wide receiver, and I know Derek Stingley, injuries and all, went one spot ahead of Sauce Gardner, but let's face it, most everyone had Sauce Gardner as the best corner. You could make the case that those four positions, edge rusher, corner, running back, and wideout, they got the best guy. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
It's astounding, really, is what it is. And I thought Joe Douglas did a phenomenal job, and you knew that they were going to get obviously a very good player at number 4, and you figured that there was going to be a very good wide receiver available at 10. I just thought trading back into the first round at 26 to get Jermaine Johnson it was just a masterstroke, and it's proof that this guy, I like to make fun of the guy because I personally just think that he can't dress at all. His fashion statement is lumberjack.
That's exactly right, or truck driver.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you what, the guy knows what he's doing, and how many general managers have we been able to say that about for any New York football team, be it Jets or Giants, in the last 20 years? I mean, it really has been a revolving door of just people who didn't seem to know how to do the job. And Joe Douglas, at the very least, seems to know very well how to work the draft. And I'll even give the same compliment to Joe Shane of the Giants, because I thought the Giants had a pretty good draft also. I mean, it's pretty hard to screw up 5 and 7, but I thought the Giants did a hell of a job too.
Well, I don't follow them as closely as you guys know, but I will say this: I mean, it is hard to screw up 5 and 7, but obviously Evan Neal fits what they want to do. He would never fit with the Jets because he's just, and I'm not saying he's going to be in a weight problem like Becton is, like Mekhi Becton is, but 350 is just too big for the Jets system. They want smaller, quicker tackles.
Right.
So they were never going to go that way. The interesting thing about Kayvon Thibodeau is the Jets felt the same way about him the way a lot of teams felt about the guy the Jets took, Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, evidently. That's why he fell. Evidently, some of the interviews, he didn't score well, the one-on-one interviews, and that's the way a lot of people feel about Thibodeau, that he's kind of brash, obviously, and boastful, and he rubbed other people the wrong way. So, again, we'll see who's right and who's wrong. You know what? Personally, I don't care if a guy is brash or whatever, if he produces.
Exactly.
I mean,
I was just about to say, if he backs it up, I don't care what he says.
Yeah,
run your mouth off. Rex Ryan was a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I mean, look at Sauce Gardner. He's certainly got swagger, as they say. But I think especially at that position, you need it because, like Revis Island, you are on that island. You need that swagger. But I think the Giants, the thing I'll say about them is I think everyone says that guy they took in the later rounds, that McFadden, might turn out to be a real value pick. That's the one to watch for. Yeah.
I mean, because he seems like Kadarius Toney 2.0, and there was the rumor before the draft that the Giants were looking to trade Toney, which is a pretty surprising development given that they just drafted the guy last season. So it makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes, because we didn't really hear specifics as far as why they were looking to trade him. But when the guy doesn't show up for the voluntary workouts with a new regime in place, and you're a second-year player who missed more than half the season because of injuries, that's just it's stupid. Is really what it is. I mean, it tells me he doesn't care about his career very much if you don't show up.
Well, speaking of that, with Mekhi Becton, listen, and again, I know they'll always say, "Hey, it's voluntary," and the Jets didn't do anything like that. But if you saw, I don't know if you guys saw the presser on Saturday, and Robert Salah is not a get-in-your-face guy. But he kind of did this passive-aggressive thing. He kind of at one point looked into the camera, and after saying the whole "it's voluntary, we're keeping tabs on him, we know he's working hard, blah blah blah."
Right.
He looks in the camera and says, "Hey," it sounds like someone we once knew, Tim. I won't get into that, but he actually said the word "buddy." He said, "Hey, buddy, come over, come back to us. We'll take good care of you." He looked into the camera like he was talking to Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
You tell me they're not unhappy that he's not there, where they could keep tabs on his weight right now? No way. They're not happy with it.
Did he say buddy or buddy boy?
Aggressive shot across the bow, if you ask me.
He should join. He should do a deal with Weight Watchers.
Yeah,
I'm serious. It'd be like
something. I mean, he really
if he can
is
lose
in danger
30
of
pounds,
eating his way out of the league.
If he can lose like 30 pounds by like August, that's a very good thing.
I know, but as big as he is, 30 pounds really doesn't do that much.
350 to 320.
He's more than 350.
Obviously, hey, I'm always going to give the credit. I mean, there was a story by Rich Cimini for ESPN.com where he got in touch with his, at least, okay, he's got a personal nutritionist, but all she was at liberty to say was, he's under 400. Well, that's really comforting.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel better.
By the way,
okay. Well, that's good to know. And that he actually was up to 400 during his rehab. But anyway, getting back to the draft, I mean, just to take the first rounder, Sauce Gardner. I mean, he's pretty much everything you want in the corner. The only thing is, guys, he has to cut down the penalties a little bit. He was a little handsy at Cincy, and let's face it, any rookie corner, you do that stuff, they're going to flag you.
Right.
Until you get the Revis rules reputation, then you get the Revis rules, and they'll let you slide on stuff. When you're a rookie, anytime you get your hands on a guy past 5 yards, if they see a little jersey tug, forget it. You're getting that flag. So he's going to have to, I know he's got the good technique, but he's going to really have to polish it up. Obviously, Wilson. Here's my question about Wilson, guys. I just wonder if, let's face it, trio Ohio State, I mean, if you count, think about this, guys. This, to me, is amazing. Jameson Williams, obviously, and everyone says, I mean, he could turn out to be the best of the bunch. But he couldn't even get a run at Ohio State. He had to go to Alabama.
Which is arguably a better school, but
exactly.
maybe isn't as much of a passing team.
Look at the guys they're churning out 3 in a row. But my question about Wilson, guys, just food for thought, is until he really broke out at the end of last season, Olave, who went to the Saints right after Wilson, was kind of the nominal number one. So was Wilson, and again, I'm not knocking him, but was he maybe benefiting from teams maybe rolling their coverage to Olave? It's an interesting thought. That's all I'm wondering.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the Jets picking Wilson obviously creates the Wilson to Wilson hookup, which I'm sure everybody will love. My question about Wilson is why the hell was this kid wearing pearls? Can somebody explain this to me?
That was a weird. That was a weird flex. I'll admit it.
Bad. Well, did anybody ask him?
No, that didn't come up. I don't think anyone had the heart to ask. They were kind of asking Johnson about the couch, the couch suit look. But you know what? I'd go with that over the pearls any day.
I like Johnson's look. The yellow jacket
any day.
I like that
all day, every day over the pearls look. Please.
Yes, absolutely. That
by the way, boys, just to let you know, another guy who had swagger was just give me the damn ball, Keyshawn.
That's true. No, that's true. That's true.
And Keyshawn, for the most part, backed it up.
Yeah, no.
And also, Tim, not only do they have Wilson to Wilson now, Now, granted, he got bumped down the depth chart because of Sauce, but they have Brees Hall and Bryce Hall.
Right. No, the Jets have a bunch of names, and don't they have like 5 guys named Jones now or something?
Douglas messed it up. He called Brees Hall Bryce Hall on Friday night. I noticed that. And I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, does he pronounce it Bryce? No, it's Brees.
Brees. Yes, rhymes with grease.
But Brees Hall also, they moved up to get him. So
right.
Give Douglas credit, guys. He was aggressive. He wasn't like, hey, he's like, you know what, I'll sacrifice a 5th-round pick to get my guy. And now, I don't like that from a depth standpoint. They need to hit on some of these undrafted free agents but to fill out the roster. But I give a guy credit like that where he's going to say, hey, this is where we have this guy rated on my board, on our board, my board, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what the other teams think, especially with Johnson. He's saying, hey, I don't care what these teams think. This is where we're going.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at who the Jets picked last night, going down the list. They didn't have a pick after the 4th round.
No, they were done. Get this, guys. The draft lasted to whatever, like 7 o'clock. They were done before 1 p.m.
It's great for the writers.
Exactly, they were all saying that.
All you got to do is say, yeah. Just do me a favor. Just call me if you trade up for.
Now, do they go home at that point? I mean, if you can't have,
they got to monitor everything. And you never know. Yeah, but you never know if somebody's going to call you and say, hey, we're looking to get rid of a 6th-round pick. What do you give us for it? Because you always want to see if there's a chance to get something else, but. They're kind of in relaxation mode at that point.
The draft is on 3 different channels. You can go to a steakhouse and get a nice steak,
Well, I'm sure they can get food brought in.
But is it a nice steak? You want a nice steakhouse.
I wouldn't doubt, though, that some might have gone home. If they live nearby, you just then monitor it that way. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt, though. But Hall, and everyone was saying, well, this is not good news for Michael Carter. Well, guys, the Shanahan offense, they don't. And let's face it, most teams don't do this anyway. The days of the Adrian Petersons are over. You want 2 guys that are both going to have like 150 or so carries. You don't want one guy having 280 carries.
Right.
That's not the way it's played nowadays. You know that.
Derrick Henry is the exception. And
exactly.
look what happened to the Titans when he got hurt last year.
Yeah, he's the one throwback. The one throwback.
But what happened when he got hurt last year? The Titans were like, oh my God, what do we do now?
Exactly. So to say this is bad news for Michael Carter, no, it's 1 and 1A. However you want to slice it. Maybe Hull turns out to be the 1 and Carter's the 1A, or flip-flop, whatever. But it's not bad news for Michael Carter. They're both going to get – and, hey, Carter missed 3 games with an ankle injury like you just talked about with Henry. So it's good to have – you can't have too many good running backs nowadays. You can't.
Exactly. And I was surprised that the Giants and the Jets actually made a trade, because that was who the Jets traded to get Hall, to get that pick. But, like you said, I mean, the Jets got arguably the top guy at 4 different positions. And to come out of the draft with that kind of quality, I was just stunned by how good of a draft that Joe Douglas had. And it's not the first time it's happened either. Again, like you said, you don't win. You don't win the season in April, but how about giving Jet fans something to be happy about and something to say, all right, good days are coming because this guy actually knows what he's doing.
And I also want to give some credit to Robert Saleh, because all last year, guys, he was giving this rap, and you never know, because the sad thing about Rex, I know you guys are pressed for time, so I won't ramble, but
we got food minutes.
But Rex Ryan, the sad thing about Rex Ryan, guys, and listen, I give him credit. He did instill a culture where they were going to ground and pound, and they were going to play tough defense and blitz the heck out of you. But he would give this stuff before the cameras, guys, and then he would do the same thing behind the scenes and tell these guys they were great and pump them up, and they believed it. But Salah, all last year, he was saying, we love these young corners and blah, 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 blah. And I think he was thinking, hey, we're going to have the next Richard Sherman. But you know what? I think he finally realized, and he and Douglas agreed upon it. To get shutdown corners, guess what? You have to draft them early. You're not. Yep. The Richard Shermans of the world are the exceptions. You're not going to find shutdown corners, just like Meatloaf. You don't find Coupe de Villes hiding at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box.
Whoa, pop culture reference.
Good job, JP.
There you go. I haven't done a Francesa reference, so I mean, you don't find shutdown corners there either, and you got to find them early. And I think Salah realized, hey, in this day and age, especially now, you look at the division: Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. And I'm sure the Patriots, they realize they can't dink and dunk their way in the playoffs. They're going to go deep more often, I'm sure. And Mac Jones does have the arm. We saw him at Alabama. Okay, there's your Francesa reference. They realize, hey, we need a shutdown corner. And now they have two. DJ Reed is pretty good. They have two better corners than they had last year. No offense to guys last year, but let's face it. They were young guys that really were playing trying to play above their pay grade and not doing it.
Right. And that's what the draft is for. You need to improve, and you if you can improve in areas where you have a need to improve, that's even better. And then I thought that's what the Jets did. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Garrett Wilson and him being a legitimate threat for Zach Wilson. Because I don't, besides what's his name, the little receiver who they signed to the extension, what's his name?
Braxton Berrios.
Besides him, who was their threat last year? They didn't have one, and I still want to know what's going on with the Mims kid. Is he sticking around or what?
Elijah Moore is a budding star. But
okay,
we have to see if he can stay healthy, though.
Right.
But I like that combo of them on each side with some speed. I want to see them throw deep more. I mean, last year was ridiculous. I mean, you've got this guy who's got a cannon for an arm and a dinky and dunky. It's like having a European sports car, and I'm just going to take it to the train station.
Right. Well, I don't know. My brother's a big fan of the bomb, so that's.
I've always loved the bomb. The Darryl LaMonica.
It opens up the short stuff. If you at least throw a couple of them, it's like having a big dog in your yard. You got to throw them to make them respect the short stuff.
Exactly.
Darryl LaMonica. And you know what? Joe Namath threw the bomb very well, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Rest in peace, Darryl LaMonica.
By the way, there, JP, Francesa now has his podcast because he originally hated podcasts, and now he's back.
Don't listen to his podcast. Listen to ours.
And he always said, how are you going to monetize them?
Yeah, but I guess someone's paying him. So
it's really weird to see him having a podcast. That is weird, Rob. I agree.
I would have taken one day a week on the weekends at somewhere, but that's just me. Anyway, we've been talking to JP Pelzman, Jets beat writer for Forbes.com. What has to happen in the next couple of months for the Jets to get even a little bit better than what they've already become through this draft? Assuming everything works out.
I don't know if there's any more moves they can make, but I mean, Zach Wilson has to have a good spring, guys. It's not just the receivers. He has to do it himself. Robert Saleh challenged him when he was at the owners' meetings in Florida not last month anymore, March, to really get into the playbook and get into the weeds. And that's part of it, guys. It's not just the receivers. Zach Wilson has to really master the playbook and know where he's going on every play and know where his secondary reads are and everything and not make mistakes like trying to sneak on 4th and 2. And that's part of it. So it's not just on the receivers to be great. It's on Zach Wilson to know where he's going with the ball every play. And I think that's the biggest thing. Is he to take that jump in year 2? He has to have his football IQ in order.
Well, one thing I would do with Zach is I would literally plant him with his wide receivers and his tight ends, and maybe they don't have to practice every day, but I want them to be together every day. I want them to connect, not just through playing, but the fact that they sort of start to read each other much better.
But didn't Wilson do that? I thought I saw a story weeks ago.
He did do one of those. Yeah, he did do one of those informal shorts and shirts get-togethers.
Yeah,
where
get the boys together.
But I agree with you, Rob. I think they do need to spend more time getting the chemistry down because it is important, and he really has to play within. He has to play within the system. He can't always want to be just breaking away, and I'm going to scramble around and do this and that. But that's why I want them to throw the ball deep. Because I think that's why he was scrambling around a lot last year, because I'm sick of this dink and dunk. I want to throw the ball deep. Well, dial up a few deep shots. That'll satiate him, but he'll stay in the pocket. He has to learn how to win from the pocket. Because guess what? If you're always on the run, guess what? You're going to get racked up at some point.
Yep, good point, JP. Absolutely. Good point. One more question, brother? Or you...
I'm just wondering, just what were the surprises for you from the draft? I mean, I personally thought the Patriots had a terrible draft. To me, that was one of the big surprises. But I mean, what struck you as maybe one or two surprises?
Is Nike making the picks, guys? What's going on here? I mean, I didn't understand that. I got to admit, well, the one I kind of alluded to it before. I mean, I was really shocked at that. I mean, I guess maybe they got a good report on the medicals, but I was shocked at Derek Stingley Jr. Again, obviously he's super talented, but had he went before but he went before Sauce Gardner. I mean, and also when you think about it, I mean, Lovie Smith, he is the another Francesa reference. He's one of the major practitioners of the Tamper 2. I mean, and Derek Stingley, just like Sauce, is a press man guy. So maybe again, and I would hope Salah for the Jets incorporates more press man. But I think that's also something you're going to see. I think these passive zones, I think people are phasing them out because let's face it, everyone's cracked the code on those.
Yes, agree.
Offenses crack the code. I mean, like it or not, you have to play press man because you got to get your hands on these receivers now, or we've seen it. The Cooper Kupps of the world are going to go wild on you if you don't get your hands on them.
Absolutely.
Good point. JP, thanks for joining us. We seriously appreciate it. We always love having you on.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Any articles we should know about on is it Forbes.com?
No, just check out my Twitter feed, and I'll be linking them. I'm going to write something. I'm going to have something come out later today about kind of the pros and cons of a deeper dive into the first round picks and just kind of who were the winners and losers with these guys and just a little deeper dive into what people can expect from these guys.
So find you on Twitter, and they can hook up to your columns there.
Exactly.
Or Forbes.com, and then type in Jets or JP.
Yeah, or just Forbes.com. If you just Google Forbes.com and JP Pelzman, it'll take you to a lot of my stuff.
You got it. Thanks a lot, JP. We always love talking to you. Thanks, man.
Same here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, JP.
Bye-bye. That's JP Pelzman, Forbes.com, Jets beat writer, talking about the Jets and a little bit about the Giants and the Patriots. First-round picks, or all picks, really. We look forward. It could be a better season than, maybe the Jets don't come in last place again. I don't
want to say I'm optimistic, but
I feel a lot better right now.
I feel better. I am a little more confident about the Jets, and I'm certainly not sitting here saying the Jets are going to win 10 or 11 or 12 games next season because they won't. But they're going in the right direction. And who knows how many games they're going to win next season? But I could certainly see them going 8-9, 9-8, and kind of seeing where they are after that, because there's a lot of good young talent on that team, and you could almost say the same thing about the Giants because there's a lot of good talent on the offense. Now they have they're better on the line. I still don't think Daniel Jones is the answer. But we'll see where that goes, because if the Giants have another flop of a season, then Daniel Jones is gone. But then the Giants are picking a quarterback again in next year's draft and kind of starting that window again, which I don't want to say it wastes time of the young guys who they have now. But the quarterback has to play catch up in that regard, and that's always a problem because that's the toughest position to play catch up with.
Right, and I also think with whenever you have to draft a new quarterback, there's always fear that it's going to work, and it doesn't always work.
Well, fear that it doesn't work.
Well, yeah, that's
like thus far. I mean, all we keep hearing about Daniel Jones. Oh, it's going. They have to. They need to get a line. They need to get skill players. Daniel Jones has to make the step. And I'll give Daniel Jones credit for being a tough kid. He absolutely is that, but he's just not very talented. Yeah, and I said it with the couple days after they drafted him that it was a reach, and it was a massive reach. And let's face it, it was not a good quarterback draft that year. And Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins, but he was a bad pick for the Washington then Redskins, now Commanders. So much like this draft was,
right?
There weren't a lot of good quarterbacks.
We should say playoff start of the NHL tonight. The Rangers will face the Penguins starting tomorrow for Game 1 in their series. Rangers played very well this season. That's the Garden. I was just thinking of this, bro. Looking at the standings. The NBA has the play-in thing now.
Yes.
What if the NHL did that?
Well, they kind of do with the wild card.
Yeah, but they could make it even crazier if they wanted to. And it's the NHL. They could do that.
The NHL used to have the playoff system where 3/4 of the teams made it.
Right.
The playoffs need to mean something, brother.
I agree.
You need to earn your way into the playoffs, not just play your way into the playoffs.
The Islanders were 16 points behind Washington for the 8th seed. So
what was were the Islanders? Did they finish over 500? I don't even know.
No. Well, hold it. Let's see. 30. They did 37, 35, and 10.
Yeah, that's not playoffs.
And yeah,
you play 500 in anything, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. And then the NBA is the exception with that, and it shouldn't be.
Right. Guess what I was watching this morning, brother?
Cartoons? I don't know.
No. I was watching NYCFC, my favorite stupid team in the MLS because they don't have a name. Playing the San Jose Earthquakes.
That's right, they were. They were beating the San Jose Earthquakes.
Straight out of the NASL, but
they weren't playing that game when you were watching it, brother. That was a rebroadcast.
It was a rebroadcast, and I have to say, watching a game on the field at Yankee Stadium is even worse than some of the other fields because they really don't. I don't know. They leave the infield the way it is. Obviously,
they have to.
I know, but it takes away from looking with the ball. It's just
that's why why they need to build their own stadium. The Yankee Stadium field for NYCFC is temporary, but we're still waiting for ground to be broken. I mean, they supposedly have a location, but red tape being red tape. That's what we're waiting for.
And we should say, Man City and Liverpool. Both won.
I love it when my brother becomes a Liverpool fan for 5 seconds.
That's right.
Yes, they both won this weekend, brother. So Manchester City is still a point ahead of Liverpool with four matches left in the season. Tottenham and Arsenal both won. So Arsenal right now is still a point ahead of Tottenham for fourth place. So not really anything changed in the standings except one more game is off the schedule. Tottenham this week will play Liverpool. They travel to Liverpool for a match that both teams need desperately to win. So we'll see what happens. If Tottenham gets a draw, Tottenham and Liverpool draw, and Arsenal gets a win, then Tottenham is in big trouble. So we'll have to see. Tottenham desperately needs a win, and Liverpool has not been kind to Tottenham in recent years.
And
so we'll see where that goes.
And the Red Bulls won on Saturday, doing a penalty kick thing. Boo.
Yes, late penalty for a 2-1 win over the Chicago Fire. And by the way, brother,
I like the penalty kick, but like I said, I think it was.
Well, no, it wasn't penalty kicks. It was they were awarded a penalty kick late in the game.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right, well, what's wrong with a penalty kick? You get fouled in the box. You deserve a penalty kick.
I don't know.
So anyway, Red Bulls are second place in the Eastern Conference. They have 17 points. They're 1 point behind the Philadelphia Union. And NYCFC, the reigning champions of Major League Soccer, are fifth. They have 13 points in 8 games. And the Red Bulls are 17 points in 9 games. So they're almost even.
And we should say that next week on our show, we'll be talking to noted soccer writer Michael Lewis about his book about the Rochester Lancers, which was a major team in the NASL besides maybe the New York Cosmos, or then later on the Cosmos.
Yes, before the Pele days.
Yeah, but the Rochester Lancers were one of the major teams.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking to him about his latest book about the Lancers. So we'll be talking to Michael next week. Coming up next at 10 o'clock, they don't call him Big Ed for nothing. Ed Newland's coming up next with The Good Gold Show, all the oldies you want to hear for the next 2 hours. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
That is Tim Leonard. He is my brother, award-winning sports writer. I am Rob Leonard. This show becomes a podcast later on. Thank you for listening. Take care and bye-bye.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by Nassau Community College's annual Celebrate Summer Blood Drive, a great opportunity to recognize how important each and every one of us is toward the health and well-being of our community. Giving blood is giving the gift of life, and every donation could help save as many as 3 individuals. The Long Island Blood Center Drive will be happening Thursday, May 5th on the 3rd floor of the library building on the campus of Nassau Community College from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. More information is available online at ncc.edu.